500 nominated candidates across the country, and we have to deploy at all levels. You can even be shocked that the councillor to be will create havoc in Nansa now or somewhere. So we overstretch, that is true. Two, nobody gains out of this confusion and chaos. If anybody thought that we are making a killing as an institution, you're mistaken. We are losing officers, people are admitted, we are having our cars destroyed, our resources are drained by overzealous supporters, if that word exists. I have heard you using the word overzealous officers. Do we have overzealous supporters? If yes, we are suffering in their hands. We do not want to be hated, the image, the institution, but at the end of the day, we have a duty, much bigger than the duty of the politicians. While your duty is to look for votes in Nakasongola or Kayunga, the duty of the police is much bigger, to protect the life and property of you, the candidate, your opponents, and those who are not interested in what you're doing. So our role is so big.
What do you think you're doing wrong that you may be able to reflect on? And
how about if we looked at what we are supposed to do as an entire group? Because this is a multi-stakeholder activity. When you bring out police alone, you will be making a mistake. How about if everybody involved did their part, had enough civic and voter education? Because part of it is ignorance. While we have police officers training on crowd control, on human rights, I do not know a school that trains politicians. People wake up and join politics. And from nowhere, they are uttering words that don't really make sense. They are threatening people. How about to most of Ugandans?
But they are addressing thousands of Uganda. Maybe they don't make sense to you as a person.
It is me they're asking. So I cannot now use your head to interpret what makes sense or not.
Yeah, so if they don't make sense to you, yes, it's to you, not to the population.
If all stakeholders in this activity did their part, probably would get out of what we are discussing time and again.
Okay. Is police carrying the cross for the rogue elements who are disguised in security?
That's your interpretation.
The Chiboko squad, there is also another squad.
Did you see?
Who are they called? The guys who were in Kampeyini.
Did you see police during the NRM elections in Kololo? Even when they were fighting, they were softly handling them.
That is why
because it was NRM.
While you have Semuju and MK telling you that police is against certain parties, when it comes to NRM, it is another level.
Because you're doing nothing.
NRM presidential candidate getting nominated, and we had some thugs involved committing crimes, and they were arrested. I do not know whether you had rumors or you saw. Taken to court. At Kororo, we were struggling with NRM members and supporters at their delegates conference. So for police, it is a day-to-day.
I didn't see you tear gas.
As we shift from this topic, because I want us to take on another topic, Honorable Mwanga Chivumbi, there's been a litany of accusations on NUP supporters stealing police items, assaulting police officers, smashing cars. Don't you think you also need to check your conduct?
First and foremost, let me speak for the party where I'm a leader. When we got nominated, they gave us a campaign schedule. A day we cover 2 districts. Have we been in any district, in any area, on a day we're not supposed to be there? Let an officer here tell me.
But you got the guidelines on how to get to
Let's
the
go slow. We were subjected to go to the RDCs in security meeting to determine a route and a venue. Imagine an RDC. We subjected ourselves.
We also go there.
No, wait. You don't know, wait.
We go there.
They are the ones cheating elections.
For me, I know we go to RDCs to agree on the venues.
Just imagine the extent we've gone to.
Yeah, but who are you?
It is the office.
Of the RDC.
All of us go to those offices.
All the RDCs are NRM campaign agents.
For me, that's according to you, but it is a fact that before the rallies, we go to the offices and subject ourselves to that.
We have subjected ourselves to go to security meeting. chaired by RDCs to determine venues and routes. We have followed. We've not had any rally organized in any place that has not been agreed on.
You deny accusations of theft and assault.
Let me go slow. We have followed only the routes. They said major towns don't go there, we don't go. Our rallies are 20 kilometers to 30 off the main towns. We brave and go there.
And that was
No, we brave and go
Where
there.
was your rally in Rukunjini?
If it wasn't, I'm sorry.
You might need to correct this.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, I'm telling
Because
you.
you don't mislead the
if it's yours could have been an exception. Yes, to the rule. It could have been an
How about
exception.
Mbarara?
Mbara, where was it?
Mbara High School.
Where was it?
Mbara High School.
You who chose the longer route
It
to
is
go
also-
through Matugasemto. But
Can
if you took
can-
the route to Luwero and Chiwoko,
Can
it
you
is less
believe-
than
can you
50
believe
you were in the
that
kilometers.
in our
Sorry, you
interest
were
we
the town.
took the wrong route? Two, let me tell you what we have met on the road. They started by jamming our venues. They would put a jammer. I know what you are doing, sir. They put a jammer so that all these other internet on the venue don't work. They then
What do you mean venues don't work?
I mean, you know when you jam a venue,
But
you know exactly
don't
what I
know.
mean.
I-
If you don't know, then
I
you are
don't
not
know what
streaming
it
live.
means to jam a
No,
venue.
I know
How
what
do
was
you jam a
happening.
venue?
I know what was happening.
the viewers should
Then
know
what
what
did
you
they
mean
do?
by jamming
They
the venue.
put an anti-riot group inherently to follow our candidate. It's the only candidate, by the way, that is being
Honorable,
followed.
you define
by
the
an
public jamming, what the
anti-riot
jamming was
unit.
talking
The
about.
venue of all things.
Led by one,
Jam when you are
Live streaming
live
your events.
streaming.
Sometimes they were off. I know it.
No,
I know it.
we follow your
I
events.
know it.
We
I know
follow
it.
your activities.
I know it. Two. Now, the police, as the campaign heated up, because they had packed a lie, eaten Museveni's money, saying we have bribed the NUP power base, and security was involved.
According to you,
involved.
and you should not
First
speak
of all,
for
like
us.
in Kawempe,
You shouldn't
this
speak for us.
so-called, what are the ghetto structure, was
I'm going
involved
to answer
in
your
beating
question.
up our
Yes,
people.
yes,
And I'm
answering
saying,
is not the
and
question.
security was protecting them. Now, let them tell me an incident.
Have you had chance to reflect on the conduct of your supporters?
What have they done?
They're
Actually,
big-
they are the most well-behaved supporters you'll ever see.
You're pelting stones on vehicles. That's part of the allegation.
Can I tell you, sir?
The public should look
Can
at
I
your
tell
face
sir?
and see when you
Can I tell
don't
sir?
agree with what you are
Let
saying.
Let
Look
them
at
tell me
camera.
an incident.
Look in the camera.
Look in the camera
I'm
and
looking
just-
at the camera.
You need to watch
Let them tell me
what
an
will
incident,
be
and I'll
campaigning
tell
and the
you.
words that you use.
Let me tell you. Let them tell me an incident where police has not tear gassed, okay, brutalized people, and the
Do you hurl
population.
stones at officers?
No, today.
Yes,
where?
Primus has a point of view.
I think as leaders, political party leaders, and leaders of this country, we need to be very, very honest with ourselves. Number one, we did a study on the hotspots in the entire country. And one of the issues, as we talk about professionalization of the police, that we found is the radicalization of party supporters by politicians. So politicians are radicalizing young people, and these politicians across the board. They are radicalizing young people who are engaged in hate speech. They are radicalizing young people who are engaged in misinformation, and some of them are buying phones and giving them to these young people. And some of these groups, gang groups, are hired to go and destabilize campaigns and campaign processes. So we need to know that the country that we are talking about, there are also wrong elements that are happening, that in this political process, we need to be
So is Mwanga being
careful
deceptive?
about. Yes, we need to be honest. The radicalization of political party supporters is something that needs to stop if we have to manage a civic, well-behaved society. Now, two, I wanted to ask...
Okay, in the case of national
Can you
interplatform,
define for me what you mean by radicalization?
Radicalization
Yes.
is giving people extremist
Don't do the
views.
movement sign.
No, I mean, it's giving people extremist views.
Yes.
What are the extremist views? One is hate speech. Two is misinformation and disinformation.
Break for me hate speech.
Hate
What do you
speech,
mean by hate speech?
allow me to submit.
You were given ample time.
Number
to
3
submit.
is saying, number
Even
3,
here,
radicalization of members.
The
radicalization of members
Honorable Namayanja, let's allow
is
privacy.
in a state where there is security, mobilizing those young people, sponsoring them to be on radios, to be on social media, and I'm talking across political parties. NUP,
Is NUP guilty in this case?
NUP, NRM, DP. In Guru, for example, there is a group called the Konye Group. It's a group of young people. Here in Kampala, in the ghetto areas, there are groups. In Fort Portal, there are groups. And they know. Even NRM, during the NRM primaries, you saw a lot of bloodshed happening. People picking sticks and beating others. So the radicalization is what we need to be honest about. So when the leader comes here and says, you know, we are very clean, you're speaking for so many people, in those groups, people take advantage of politics and want to do criminal acts. And they want to hide in the cover of politics. So we need to be very, very honest.
Want to take it up and
honestly
own up and say you have wrong elements within
the
national
difference
interest.
between me and academicians. Okay, the difference between me and the Honorable Semuju and these ones and this one is that we are factual. I'm running a political party. We have a messaging. I don't know what you call radicalization, but our message for change is unequivocal. Our message for spelling out the wrongs this government has done is unequivocal. Our message in mobilizing and responding to a given environment of a security apparatus that is a terrorist is unequivocal. That people need to stand. Can you imagine?
Don't you find it harsh?
No. Can you imagine?
A terrorist.
Can you imagine? They are doing terrorist acts. They are doing terrorist acts. They are doing terrorist acts. Can you imagine a general narration telling people the role of the Electoral Commission, putting an announcement, says, after voting, you go home. There is no place for susu. There is no place for peeing. There is no what. I had this by general narration. I want civil society to condemn that general. We've had now orders from security saying on polling day, after polling,
you want to depict yourselves as innocent and saintly.
No.
Are you?
We are. And innocent. We are. I can look through in the face and tell you, National Unity Platform, the same accusation they were saying Dr. Kizza Besigye was radicalizing FDC. The same accusations were being put to us and saying we are radicalizing DP with Namayanja. Whoever has a message for change, this civil society will call it hate speech. Define for me the difference between hate speech and me saying this regime has robbed people, is corrupt, is tribal,
as
needs to go.
Minister for National Guidance.
You are counting their votes in the darkness. He failed to guide them.
No, I think he has recovered from it.
He failed to guide them.
But when you look at the trend of things, with accusations and counter-accusations that NUP supporters have become rogue, NUP says security is now a terrorist outfit, does it tell you anything?
Well, we really need hygiene across the political spectrum, where people respect the law, respect the rules, and respect each other. It is true there are political parties that promote a culture of belligerence and radicalism. And NUP is one. For Honorable Mwanga Chivumi to sit here and face the camera and say there is total discipline.
You remember the NRM boys
the people watching this show will
will
just laugh at you, because Uganda is follow how NRM behaves, how NUP behaves, how other parties behave.
But do you remember the boys in yellow who descended on the city and started robbing and beating up people?
And we condemn them. You can't rule out, could have been Mwanga Chivumbi who gave them yellow shirts to come, but even those who are in NRM who are indisciplined, we condemn them. We don't, that kind of indiscipline We condemn it. And the
They
message
could have been dressed by Mwanga Chivumbi.
Absolutely, it is possible. It is possible. I know politicians who buy, opposition politicians, who buy NRM shirts and dress their supporters and urge them to break the law so that the public sees them as NRM. I will not name them here, but I know. I have been in the politics around. So, okay, you say you don't know, but me, I know.
You're a minister for national guidance. You shouldn't
yes,
lie.
I'm guiding you. So, there are even those who procure violence because violence can propel them. I have been in the political environment for some time to know what happens. I know of a politician who one time bribed the police to arrest that politician and manhandle the politician because maybe in an urban environment like Kampala and the surroundings, that makes you vote.
Are you at liberty to name the politician?
No, not here.
Why?
I know of a politician.
No. I think you're making sweeping allegations.
No. I know of a politician when we were in Parliament handling the age limit debate who was lobbying. You tell security not to harass me. I am going to jump and fall on the speaker. People plan all sorts of antics. And we are saying we need to play clean politics. And it is the conduct of a candidate at presidential, even for us who run for parliament, how you conduct yourself, how you behave, that dictates how your supporters and agents behave.
Thank you.
If I choose to incite people, they will cause violence. I have seen a candidate who says, now we must bring a Madagascar here, a Nepal here, a Sudan here. And so what message is that one? You are basically inviting for an insurrection.
Why are you speaking in tongues? Why wouldn't you say, I've seen such and such a candidate?
No.
Be explicit enough.
I can, but I'm saying the conduct and behavior of some of us in politics is bad, does not promote discipline.
Honorable,
that's why our supporters, our followers, start breaking the law.
Honorable
so
Semuju,
really the guidance is that all of us, the actors, starting with the candidates, they should behave and give a correct and disciplined message. And that way the supporters will also follow. But if you say we are in a protest campaign, what are you protesting?
In such a charged environment, do you imagine that even parties need to do a bit of soul searching on the conduct of their supporters?
You see, I want to urge this in a context. In other jurisdictions, you will have a credible, independent electoral commission organizing elections. Whether you deploy agents or not, your results will be announced. In Uganda here, the state and NRM and M7 are one and the same. You can imagine the whole of Vayomus was cheated by his own party.
That was an internal process.
They were, no, parties are not internal. They are public institutions under the Political Parties and Organizations Act. So these are public institutions. They are our institutions. They are not theirs. We even pay them money. So what goes on in NRM should concern every Ugandan. This is a public institution. And you can't have a party cheating its own internal elections and presiding over national elections and you think they will not cheat them. That's how they have taught themselves. You see, this is the party in charge of the state. You see,
so are you saying
the trouble...
The Independent Electoral Commission is equals NRM?
The trouble is that you want to look at these processes at their tail end. Why are people saying the things that they are saying? If you have cheated the election, the other day you had Sejusa, who was coordinator of security, he said actually Besigye was cheated. So if they plan to cheat you, what do? The Constitution, Article number 3 says actually, if they are breaking the Constitution, you must use all the means available. That is in the Constitution written. So when people... Yeah, that's what it says. Yes. So until we've built our elections, made them credible, made them believable, you will not have people, you will still have people organizing to counter the state. If you saw what happened in Kawempe, Njara, and you were a candidate, what would you do? that they have driven a mamba. The law says you're not even supposed to carry an AK-47 at a polling station. For them, they brought armored vehicles. So if you're a candidate, what do? I was with the Honorable Muir in a by-election. And he said, you see, there's nothing that is hurting as organizing support. You have it, and on the day of polling, they are cheating you. They have brought all NRM vigilantes. This one from Kayunga, he came with a gun at a polling station. So the behavior of people who are in the state will determine the response. I have said here, and I've argued many times, you've seen children go to burn libraries, yet they are the beneficiary of a library because of many other things that are not going on well. So you don't blame them for burning the library. Look at the things that are
motivating. The rogue conduct
of the state is inviting the response from the population. People you see responding the way they are responding, ask them, the only one ask the legitimate question. If you have not tear-gassed people, even when you are absent, you should even go and police criminality elsewhere. People can go and conduct their rallies and go home peacefully. They have stopped our meetings and say, you don't have a permission from police. And then one time they told me I had a rally in Chireka, that I didn't inform them, so there was no adequate security. But they brought like 200 to stop the rally. The conduct of the state, people who are running the state, sometimes provoke this response from the population. And I'm not condoning people stoning a policeman. Where it has happened, I condemn it. But you policemen, people who put on our uniform, stop behaving like you are also vigilantes of a political party. And then you come here and blame the victims. So you go beating people, tear-gassing them, and then you say, we are protecting those who are doing their business. Which business do you do under tear gas? You have tear-gassed an entire town, and then you come and, no, they have cheated people, but you are the one who are causing confusion. Because if you have a whole town following Kyagulanyi, you leave them to go wherever they want. He's on his way going and you are tear-gassing everybody. Leave them to go. If they don't want to come back, it is their business. Why should you go and tear-gas them and beat them? So, Bariomuns and your group, when you are vulnerable, then you bring in the state. And then you blame others. Because the very question you have asked, these campaigns have been going on for the last 2 months. No incidents. But you see a campaign grows. After growing now, you begin feeling threatened. Now you must invite police and the military and the JAT and everybody to respond. Because you now begin sensing a defeat. Otherwise, if you don't sense a defeat, why would you even be bothered?
You think NRM is going to be defeated?
NRM has cheated elections before.
Honorable, before I get to Primus, you've traversed at least quite a number of districts around the country. I want us to look at the reception, the crowds. When you're talking crowds, I think it's now come to a two-horse race where both Honorable Robert Kyagulanyi and your candidate, President Museveni, are gathering huge crowds. Do they tell anything?
First of all, let me make a comment on what Honorable Semuju said, that talked about internal processes within the NRM and how it can be a recipe for lack of democracy and everything. There are processes that we follow. That is one. But even when there are issues or grievances, there are also options for remedy and everything. But we have also had situations where candidates in primaries in NUP would come out and say, I had paid for this amount of money. At least we do not sell cards or flags and nobody comes at our party headquarters to pick a card. Those processes that we follow through are what has brought us this far. Our party is an intergenerational party. We have seen flag bearers that have come this time round. And it has been actually the trend. Young people coming in who have defeated incumbents and are coming in by the will of the people that voted them. That is one. Two, on the issue of rallies, yes, the rallies are there, but to us the rallies are not the main thing. The rallies are not the main thing. Like I said, we have covered 82 districts so far.
Yeah.
And we have moved very well. We have not had incidences because we follow due process.
You've
if
all
the
had
opposition,
crowds.
yeah, if the opposition does not want to go to the other DC's offices, we do go there with the security committee. We agree on venues where we are supposed to be, and we follow the process, and our rallies have been huge. But for us, that doesn't stop there. For us, it starts with first and foremost, the candidates that we have fielded in all these constituencies and the local government positions. Because where the rally has ended and the presidential candidate is not there, we have candidates for MPs. We fielded candidates in all the constituencies. Out of the 519 electable positions, the party has candidates. And once the rally is done by the presidential candidates, those members of the flag bearers of NRM at the various levels, the woman MPs, the MPs for directly elected seats, the LOC5 chairpersons, the councillors at district level, the councillors at parish level, as we speak, they are campaigning. But where you see a party like NUP, which is the leading opposition party, failing to field candidates in 48% of the constituencies.
And in some you're denominating them.
Out of 500 and...
With machinations.
No.
They got excited and crossed to NRM.
Out of the 500... No, that is true, but let's also get this very clearly. If there are some who have been denominated, that's a totally different story. But out of 519 seats, NUP has not fielded candidates in 216 constituencies. And to us, that is a sign that actually on the ground, you are very thin, because you could not, to some of them, it's like they were throwing cards for anyone who would pick it. Because we have some who even come in Tororo, 9 of them, who wanted to come and join the NRM.
Quite an elaborate
but for me,
process.
I want the Ugandans who are watching to know that if somebody who wants a presidential seat or a seat for president, you must also have parliament. But that if you can't afford to field the candidates in 216 constituencies, out of the 146 districts, NUP fielded 78 woman MP candidates. What does that mean? That they are thin on the ground. So for us,
Please go ahead.
Can I ask
If you can take a
do.
question.
Do you know that Wakiso has 3.4 million people with 9 MPs? And the whole of Karamoja is 1.4 million with 26 MPs. Do you know that you are doing things Obote used to do?
Wakiso has
3.4 million people with 9
But does
MPs.
that stop you from fielding candidates elsewhere?
Because you create...
With gerrymandering.
No,
Yes,
no,
you're creating
no. As far as
constituencies
constituencies are concerned, at least I know that this time there were no new constituencies that were created.
I am only telling you, Wakiso has 1.2 million votes.
I know.
It is possible to win an election with less MPs, depending on which area.
For us, you are looking at Wakiso. You are looking at Wakiso.
This one here that you were able to change the constitution.
You are looking at Wakiso.
Can impeach you on the first day.
You are looking at Wakiso. We are looking at the whole country, and that's what we keep
I am
saying.
only giving you
Honorable
figures
Samjo,
that it is
I
possible.
really-
Okay,
It is
please allow
possible
her.
to win the
Please allow her to make a
presidency
submission.
without having to
You
win
are
all the
looking at a
MPs.
region. We are talking about the whole country.
Yeah, but
West,
he
east,
says
north, and
there are
central.
micro constituencies
But if-
where you field
But you could also
with a lot
field
of
in
ease.
those. You could also field. You were
For
the announcements
The
were
total
clear.
population in his constituency, the total population,
Honorable
is 3,000 smaller than
Semuju,
my
regardless of what you are saying,
village.
the
So these
fact
MPs that
is,
you are counting are fictitious.
but they are the MPs that you are seated with in Parliament. The position is,
Why
if you
should I
can't
bother to
field
go
the
and field
candidates, if you
in
can't
a
field the
constituency of
candidates in those
3,000?
constituencies, then who is, and they are polling stations, by the way, they are polling stations in each of those constituencies where they will be voting for the president, where they will be voting for the MPs, the councillors. Almost 30% of the local government
Namanja
elections, they were
in
unopposed.
Butambala, just near here, have 3 councillors unopposed, nope.
I'm telling you 30%.
No, I'm saying, if
I'm telling
you a ruling party fails to fill the councillor in Butambala.
No, that's not an
Can you
issue.
believe-
Let's talk about MPs,
No,
but I'm telling you,
Let's take a break and
30%.
return with more bit of vigor. Primos, there is something quite unprecedented. We're seeing the new pattern of candidates being denominated, while on the campaign course, someone comes and says, these were not my signatures, and therefore the Electoral Commission denominates. That, coupled with quite a number of other dynamics that are playing out, as observers in this election, what do they speak to?
Yeah, you allow me just use 1 minute to respond to what Semuji said when he said when the state emits a lot of violence, people should respond. And I believe
The conduct of the state can radicalize its people.
exactly, but it becomes worse if the leaders of the radical groups emphasize or promote the radicalization and nation building. I want to give examples in history.
You've already baptized some groups as radical?
No, yes. Political actors are radicalizing young people. It's a factual, it's researched. He may call it academic, but they are there. You can see them on social media, you can see them on ground, you can see them, and they are across political parties. Internal political party primaries, I have participated and observed them. They are violent. Why? Because politicians are using people to disorganize, to destabilize others. Number two.
You need to go back in history. When Obote was cheating elections, he was radicalizing the Musevenis. For them, they even chose guns. So when Museveni runs the state the way he's running it, he is radicalizing the younger people.
So is it
is not politicians.
Is it the future that we want?
No, but I'm asking.
No, is it the future that we want?
Let me ask you.
There are methods.
How do you expect people to respond to injustice?
No, there are various ways. No, yes, there are various ways that we can respond to injustice, perceived injustice, or injustice. Yes, without resorting to radicalizing of the future people that you want to lead. Because you are going to get into state power. Would you want to govern a radicalized society?
Can I give you an example?
Would you want a Uganda to fall into a Libya where today, for over a number of years, the state is not coming together?
For example,
do you want us to go to the situation of Sudan, where over 15 million people are not in their country?
Extreme cases?
No, because they are radical. They are radical states.
The countries you are citing were countries run by strong men who broke all the institutions. Don't blame the population there. It is not because of radicalism. It is because Gaddafi was in power for 43 years and he had become the state. The same things in Sudan.
And what emerged? What emerged after that?
The moment you do the things that Gaddafi did, that Bashir did, the results are going to be the same.
No, let me tell you
Can
something, Semuju.
No. Example today.
No.
Today. Let me give you this. It will kill you off. One. It will kill you off. One. Today, I got a message. I'm sorry to say this, and I will not give a detail, of the wife of Eddie Motwe on my WhatsApp. I followed up with a call. I talked to one of the children of Eddie Motwe. If you are in the position to speak to some of the children of those ones, do they have an option for not being radical?
Do you think if the man, the Pan-African we celebrate, Nelson Mandela, had chosen to revenge on the people after being in prison for 27 years?
Being academic.
I'm not being academic. Nelson Mandela
Doing
did.
before he went to jail.
Yeah, but Nelson Mandela
Do you know what he was doing before he went to jail?
Yes, but
Just
did
looking at the-
did he take the radicalism to his people? We must choose the path of leadership or we must choose the path of politics.
Maybe you're a preacher.
I'm not, call me a preacher, but you see at the end of the day is that we want to build a nation. We want to build a nation.
So you get beaten
and
with
a
the foot at
nation,
you.
a nation is not going to end with Semuju, a nation is not going to end with Honorable Bajomusi, a nation is not going to end with me. And the fact that I am doing wrong You should not. A leader knows the way, shows the way, walks the way. The challenge that we have today is that we are having politicians who are doing rent-seeking and who want to take advantage of situations
Is
to
it
appeal to their
across the
population.
aisle or it's in the
Yes,
opposition?
yes.
Who is the leader here? Name the leader.
A leader, one you should be thinking about the next
Name the
generation.
leader-
Where
Name the leader of this country.
is His Excellency the President?
What has he been doing for 40 years? Let's edit him, and you know who the
I think the question was not about auditing
No,
the NRM
no, I want
manifesto.
to edit the leader of
Let
this
me finish.
country.
Let me finish my submission.
Who has created
Let me
this
finish my
environment for 40
submission.
years?
And
Even
you
in just
see,
this civil debate,
yes,
they can't allow you,
you
to
see,
No,
you
we
see,
allow him, but he's,
you see, the
he's
challenge
very
that we have,
malaligned.
the
It's
challenge
just a
that we
virtue.
have is
it's a
that
virtue.
the people like Honorable Mwanga Kivumbi would not want their statements questioned. And if we want to build a nation called Uganda, a nation that is built on democratic values, we must build democratic culture. And this democratic culture should be built on civil respect, dignity, and including dignity of speech. Let me give an example on what you said. It was on the media. A tribal statement that you said in your constituents, and saying when people are going to vote, they should vote Baganda presidents in a country that is married tribal.
When did I say so?
2-3 weeks ago.
No, you are. That's
So,
why I'm
no,
saying, that's
we
why-
can pick that clip.
You can keep
we
it.
can
I was-
pick that
I
clip.
was in
You,
Masaka.
you actually gave 3 candidates
No, I was
who
even.
are Baganda.
That's what-
That's a tribal
No.
statement, and we cannot build a country
That's why I
that
say
is already
it is good.
divided on tribal
Now,
things,
ask
on
me.
tribal lines.
No, that's why. Let me inform you. I was having a local debate in Uganda. There was a group in Uganda that was saying they are very pro-Baganda. They are promoting Baganda. I asked them, if you are promoting propaganda, there are 3 Baganda countries, why aren't you being clear on any of them? Nothing to do with the national politics. That's why you people who do civil society, you should have cross-pollinated that statement with me. You have my number. Instead, you took it on face value and said I will speak nationally.
But Amos says you're editing.
Editing your earlier
No,
statement.
I'm not editing. You can bring that. That question I posed in Masaka is purely...
Okay.
on several occasions.
Okay, proceed.
That's why you
Let me
That's
But
proceed.
on several occasions, even when we had...
Somebody to explain.
Let me
Because
proceed.
he's entitled.
Yes. So for me, the point I'm making is that as leaders, we must be able to choose what is right and what is wrong. And we must be able to guide our people on the path of sustainable democracy. We may not be where we may not be there. That's why somebody is saying Obote was radicalizing. So should we radicalize again? No.
Okay.
Because that is not
Okay.
sustainable.
Quickly.
Number
Even-
2, on the question that you asked,
Yes.
the trend
The trends that you're seeing.
of now,
Denomination.
there is an enemy that we've not spoken about, the overly commercialized politics. And the overly commercialized politics is what, combined with elements within institutions of state and government that are partisan, is what is cropping up this. Why? We did a study, and the cost of a constituency was between 500 to 1 billion shillings. Now, given the commercialized politics, people are sitting and beginning to gauge. Instead of spending 500 million in a constituency, if I can buy 4 or 5 people 50 million, they will withdraw the signatures. And that is not good for a democratic country. Now, a politician will stand and say, okay, if they are doing it, let's do it better.
Do you blame this mischief on the individuals or a political party like NRM?
I cannot blame it on a political party. It could be individuals within political parties. Now, one thing that I know is that in a situation like this, and these politicians know, a politician will be looking for a loophole within a law. What loophole can I utilize? Now, if there is a loophole that I should be nominated and nominated, then there is a problem. Number 2, we need to really investigate deeply, because I find it weird and extremely uncivil that I bring my credentials, you verify them, you nominate me and pass me as a candidate. And 2-3 weeks later, you withdraw me from the race. That is something that I find extremely challenging, that needs to be investigated.
Thank you.
Where could be the problem?
Afande Muhwezi, how have you been able to unpack the messaging during the campaign season? And is it toxic? Is it palatable?
Whose message?
Across
And to who?
Candidates.
Njara, we've been here for some time. Personally, I don't find anything new. These are the same politicians talking to the same voters. People are even pulling crowds, but can they translate them into voters? That's another question. What I want to show is that the security apparatus take the message either on social media or live in different rallies seriously. Because we've seen what is happening around us. We are not a group that is going to wait until things are different and then we come and we use excessive force and people lose their lives. No. We take your statement seriously. We pick intelligence. We monitor your actions, what you call struggle instead of campaign. And we encourage the officers to find all the possible means within the law to protect the people.
Is struggle derogatory?
It's different. Its meaning is different from campaign. If you're on campaign and you say you're on struggle, the actions define what you're saying.
So you perceive the word struggle suspiciously?
In security, we do. We don't take anything for granted. If you say a Tanzania will come here, come in big numbers, overwhelm them, their numbers are few, the tear gas can't last for a week, you take it lightly. We prepare, we coordinate with other security agencies because we are seeing new threat elements. You may have bombs made by petrol and locally here, you may have kidnaps, you may have assassination. So we take these things seriously, that people speak on social media.
Aren't you being frivolous in
No,
misinterpreting a word as small as struggle?
We do it in security because we don't want really to wake up when it is late. For you, you can take it lightly, you may take it as simple, but we've seen countries that have gone deep and it will take them years to return. And we don't want to be that country. So we will do what it takes.
So what does
to
struggle
protect the
denote?
people. You can define it the way you want, but we are seeing the actions leading to what actually they mean.
What are they doing?
Destroying cars of police, injuring police officers is not really a campaign. It's a struggle indeed. And I can tell you, when you cross the red line, we will definitely act.
Where is the red line?
It's on ground. You cannot determine it in the studio. It's difficult to determine the situation here. It's on ground, and I can tell you the officers will use all the forces within the law to stop it.
I am very happy. This is
Community life.
he represents what I know. The one you had last time was a civil ordinary policeman. But the authority with which he speaks, you can understand their psyche. This is just a regime protection police. It has nothing to do with Uganda. Because the threats he keeps, threats around. The moment you have a family rule, you have someone changing the constitution to stay in power life presidency, even if you procure all the equipment from the world, that country will be headed the same way of Libya, of Sudan.
Trust me.
So you can go and do all the training.
Let's meet in the field.
All the training that you want.
Try
Even in Libya, Gaddafi told the people, I'm going to spray you like an insect.
Absolutely.
Yes.
You were saying the same thing.
The insects
You
he
were
wanted,
promising the same
the
thing.
insects he wanted to spray, they are the ones who removed him.
People like Sam
Do
Kande
police work,
is
stop
becoming
politicking.
crybabies.
Stop politicking.
Promise it,
Do police
but
work.
don't cry.
Do police work, stop politicking.
Where is the red line? Okay, how do you draw the line?
We do it in the field.
And in whose interest are you drawing the line?
The people.
Which people?
The Ugandans.
And who are these people now preaching struggle?
The few radicalized group like the
Where are they
is
from?
saying. Here.
They are Ugandans.
Radicalized by Semuju and his group promising a Libya. I can tell you, you will not see a Libya here.
You mean Libya?
If you
Libya
have
was
that
first
illusion-
promised.
No, but you have promised it several times.
The
You've
moment,
spent 15 years
the
here talking
moment
about
you
Libya.
create
And
conditions,
not that you don't want to do it.
even
You've
Obote,
attempted
even
to bring
Obote,
Libya here,
even Obote
and you have
didn't know
failed.
that Museveni will go and pick arms and remove a government.
Let's
He
wait.
didn't know that. The moment you create
Every
conditions,
time
things
we
will
go
happen
into
by
this process,
themselves.
somebody promises a Libya.
Aren't you delicately walking
I
into
am
talking
being-
politics?
Actually,
This
I
is
think
a
you're talking
partisan,
politics.
no.
No, but he's explaining the work of police.
Okay.
It is
The
in your head.
Constitution
You're pushing
in
me into
Article-
politics.
Article
But I can
212
tell you, politics.
It says you must be
Security
partisan
is
as
a
he
component
is.
of politics.
Yes.
Article 212 of the Constitution provides for police and its roles and responsibilities. Are you saying because we are campaigning,
do
police
those-
should remain in the barracks and then we do whatever we want? He's saying you go and campaign, but don't cross the line.
Chris.
Remain within
Okay, you're the Minister of
boundaries
National
the-
Guidance.
Yes.
Where is the line?
The line is there defined by the law.
Wait.
But Chris,
Please,
For
draw
instance,
for us a
if
line.
you're having an assembly, do it in line with what the law provides. If you go outside the law, then you have crossed the line. That's what he's saying. Do you want me to say it in Ruchiga? This is simple English. He's saying, conduct yourselves in accordance with the law. Don't cross the line of the law. That's what he's saying.
so the reason you are explaining actually tells you that he was not saying it the way you are saying it.
No, it
You
is
see,
you are
this is a partisan NRM
You
vigilante.
have just
No, but
chosen.
no.
You have just
in all
chosen.
fairness, I invited the police officer.
You see,
You have just
Njara-
chosen not to
Njara, you
understand
can-
what he's saying.
Njara, you
Whose
can-
role is
Njara, you
neutral?
can pretend. We have
he has showed
Christopher
me a
Damulira
picture.
of crime
He has
intelligence
shown
recruiting
me.
for
He
NRM.
has shown me pictures of police officers with severe injuries. Are you saying simply because you want power, police should just
According
be
to
robbed
Semuji, those are not
and
Ugandans.
beaten?
No, it
No.
is wrong. I
That's
have
not
said
the
it
crossing
is
of
wrong
the line we are
for
saying.
anyone, for anyone
Do
to
the
attack.
campaigns, but don't do it
Is
outside
that
the law.
crossing the line or not?
Honorable Namayanja,
So tear gassing people and stopping rallies is not crossing the law.
But tear gas is accepted standard way of control.
That you go and
It is
meet a
used-
rally and tear
it is
gas
used in France. You see it every day here. How else do you want your people
You
to be
must
pushed out
use
of
it
town?
but I think
lawfully.
it's
And they make
despicable to
proclamations.
both
They warn
tear
people.
gas.
We
I saw an
never-
old woman
Yes.
running out of
Absolutely.
breath.
That's why I told you nobody benefits out of this crisis. I have
Stop
seen
it,
police
Bill.
officers
Stop
coughing. I have seen. How do you want people to be pushed?
You are
If a
hiding
leader tells you those are not Ugandans,
You are hiding us like
if
animals.
Semuji
You should
says
stop.
somebody in uniform is not a Ugandan,
Yes.
how do you put it in a better way for him to understand?
You
By
should
tear
stop.
gas.
You should stop hiding
Tear
us
gas
like
is one of the
animals.
way to control
You are the
crowds,
ones
and
who
it is
are causing
accepted.
all these problems.
Well, I'm afraid we're signing out of here, but Honorable Namayanja, what are the signals that you see
Sinamanja was with us. She was in UID.
as campaigns?
Was in
Yeah.
UID and is no longer there. And we have those who are in NUP and are elsewhere.
We are in the struggle together. So this man will arrest you because you are also in the struggle.
This one also was claiming the walls of Najananku. He left today.
Actually, from
Because you
FDC
took over
to
Najananku.
PFF,
Honorable
You
Namayanja,
partisan policemen
Yes.
took over Najananku.
Just something small. I think the issue of lines and no lines, Ugandans and the Ugandan electoral process can be better managed with tear gas. And I think the short
You
time,
have heard.
even without tear gas,
Okay.
and I think it is possible to
did you
have
say with or without?
without tear gas. And the short time
Without
that-
brutality, it's not only
Exactly,
tear gas.
without
yes.
brutality. And the short time that people are moving, I think police should be civil restraint like they have been doing to allow it. I was in Mbarara, I saw what happened. And they allowed the crowds to move from Mbarara up to Mbarara High School. And there was no incident. And I think we celebrate a peaceful election across. Because a tear gas, like I said, costs a nation.
Well,
a tear gas
we are
costs a life.
crossing to Afromobiles. What started off as a peaceful campaign season, now turning a little violent with the chaos that's been witnessed on a number of rallies. There are also quite a number of several other unanswered questions that we'll be delving into. And joining me tonight is Honorable Mwanga Chivumbi, Deputy President for the National Unity Platform and Member of Parliament, Butambala County, together with Honorable Rose Namayanja, the Deputy Secretary General for the National Resistance Movement, Afande Donald Muhwezi, the Community Liaison Officer, Kampala Metropolitan Police, Honorable Dr. Chris Baryomunsi, Minister for Information and National Guidance, who also doubles as an MP for Kinkizi, together East, yes, and Honorable Semuju Ibrahim Nganda, our frontliner, and Chief of Party, Chief of Staff in the PFF. Good to have you all and a very good evening. I'll start with you, Afande Muhwezi. What explains the shift from a police that acted civil at the beginning, now turning rogue to the extent of releasing dogs towards NUP supporters?
Thank you, Njala, and the panelists and the viewers. It's very unfair to explain the situation, the political and electoral violence, in its smallest context. You will allow me to give the bigger scope of this. We've seen this at a global level. We've seen candidates being assassinated in Japan. I am sure you know Abe. We've seen members of parliament in France in 2024 being beaten. We saw the husband of the House Speaker of USA beaten. In the region, we are surrounded by a sea of political and electoral violence. Now, for Uganda's case, it's not something new. The first attempt to the electoral process was in 1958, which was boycotted in form of violence. In 1961, they attempted again. They even came up with a law, the Prevention of Intimidation Bill. You can imagine the protectorate government had to put a law to stop people from being intimidated, to register and to vote.
Fast forward.
Plantations were cut, people beaten in Uganda, DP won, it did not take power, till the recent times that we all know. So there is a culture of violence in times of electoral process. That's number one. Number two, this is a do or die process now. It's
Why is police turning rogue?
Police is a stakeholder. It will be difficult for you to bring out one stakeholder to explain the current situation because we are not in the field alone. Three, you have violence that you call physical violence being sponsored by non-violent means on social media in terms of threats, in terms of promises, in terms of intimidation that we all monitor on social media platforms. And as security, it is very difficult for us to take it for granted that you invite people to bring a Tanzania here, that you promise a Nepal, that you request people to bring a Madagascar here, and we keep quiet or we don't monitor. Lastly, it's very bad.
I want to get back to the question.
You're referring it to a change.
You started off
we are still
calm and
we are still doing
professional.
very well. I can tell you we have 8 presidential candidates in this campaign. They are traversing the entire country. We have about 83,050 nominated candidates at different levels in the entire country. I saw MK in Butambala campaigning. I have seen campaigns in Kampala here. I've seen Honorable Chris in Chigezi. So to come out and qualify the entire process as turning out to be violent when we started peaceful is wrong. We have a small group, a small element of politicians who think that having numbers gives a message of popularity, that's number one, having ground, number two, and becoming ungovernable is their tactic and strategy. And this is the group that we're having problems with as security. We have code of conduct and the guidelines given by Electoral Commission in this process. We have meetings at different levels by commanders with organizers at ground. Let me give an example of Masaka where they are going next. We have been having meetings with organizers in Masaka on the route, on the venue, and how they should move. which is something good. By the time the Kampala team comes, they find you prepared. But we've seen consistently somebody defrauding the accepted route, the accepted venue, and the mode of campaigning, turning small trading centers into the venue. If you watched what happened in Kayunga today, the Kangulumira, Zigote, Bale, whatever they were passing, these small towns, you have 500 people in Kangulumira town. You totally close the entire town. People can't access the roads. People can't move their people to hospitals. There's assumption that everybody is waiting for your campaign today, which is not true.
Afan Godwin.
So how else do you expect police, which is having a mandate of protecting people and their property?
Is security getting back to its old ways as being the biggest nightmare in every election?
Security is having a challenge on how to keep the process moving peaceful and doing their mandate.
Is what you're doing a sign of enforcing peaceful elections to the extent of deploying dogs?
You raised the issue of dogs. I do not know whether you are aware that K9 deploys dogs globally, in UK, in Italy, in Canada, in developed democracies. They use dogs for crowd control. So it's not something new. Do not even bother to lay on the dogs. The biggest issue is why do we deploy dogs? Why do we use tear gas as a last resort to make sure that we
why
access?
have you gotten high-handed? Yet you started off
From
with
our
a lot of restraint.
From our side, we're actually restraining ourselves. From what we are doing, this is the easiest way to manage the public. I can tell you the provocation and the pushing we are receiving from this group, things would be different. But we've gotten used to this group.
Which group?
National Unity Platform. They're actually attacking, they're abusing, they're crying at the same time. Slowly, slowly, as the day follows night, people are getting used, and we are learning on how to deal with them. I can assure you, we will go on until the final day.
Honorable Mwanga Chivumbi, the National Unity Platform is being accused of being provocative towards security. No wonder security is also making this harsh response. What's your take?
One, I think the National Unity Platform has replaced a position where Dr. Kizza Besigye and FDC was 10 years ago. So this is not a one-off. It's a known script. It's a classical case that during this period, sorry, you know, I've swallowed a little bit of tear gas today, quite a lot. So from Kayunga. So what we are witnessing is a routine thing. Whoever will always be a main candidate, if the main competitor from the opposition, you can be certainly sure the police will behave this way towards you.
You're not surprised?
It's not surprising. What would have made news was if they behaved otherwise. Because to compete in Uganda, you compete with the security apparatus that is outrightly partisan. Two, of course, you compete with the treasury, okay? And of course, the civil service, not very actively involved. But let me tell you what happened. Tear gas, the current wave of violence by police, their terrorist acts have started. Terrorists, these are terrorists, kabisa, in broad daylight. Started when we...
But these are statutory institutions.
No. If, for instance, I'll give you, they are governed by a given piece of legislation. When an assembly is duly constituted, there is a procedure on how to declare it illegal. And there is a procedure how you start using tear gas. It's known, it's in the code, it's known. They know they go into training. You are supposed to bring a microphone, declare an assembly illegal. You see, once an assembly is legally constituted, for you to declare it illegal, there is a known procedure. Now, and these procedures are very clear. Are they following any of them? Two, They're giving examples of locking up towns. Dear listeners, in those towns where we've been, the citizens come on their own to line up on the street. For example, I will tell you today, and the last 2 days, we've had 3 rallies. We were supposed to have 3 rallies. The first rally we were supposed to have was in Honorable Patrick Nsanja's rally. We had another. We don't even have time to do a roadside show and waste time. You are simply so rushy to have that time. But what police, from day one in the morning, they have assembled a riot police, I don't know what they call it, group, anti-riot, to accompany our presidential candidate.
So there is premeditation.
Pre-planned. At midday, not to be comfortable, midday, it was around 2. They simply came and tear-gassed the rally, well assembled. Today, it was at 2 minutes past 6. They simply tear-gassed a well-assembled rally. There were 2 very elderly ladies.
What
the
time
age
do
of the
campaigns
president.
end?
6.
Okay.
They tear-gassed at 2 minutes past 6. 2 minutes past 6. That is within the margin of error, plus minus 10. So really, nobody, without following any code of conduct, they simply came and tear-gassed everything. So what is happening is that the police deliberately now has turned into a terrorist gang. Terrorizing humble Uganda. There was this old woman, okay? This very old woman, the age of our president, who had attended the rally. I've seen them being taken away on a stretcher. The area MP, Honorable Batandise, literally was dying and is hospitalized. You've seen a lady that was shot by police. Now, what explanation do they have?
Thank you.
To act with impunity?
Honorable Namayanja, what's your analysis on the trend that the campaigns are taking thus far?
I think I must say that it takes 2 to tango. As far as election violence is concerned, it takes all of us to play our part, and self-restraint is the first thing, and compliance with the set-up procedures and everything. Because I remember last time when I was here, there were issues, and even some callers were like, there has been that talk, even on social media and everywhere, because there has not been violence. But I want to say that for us on the part of the National Resistance Movement, first of all, we don't do processions. Yes, we don't do processions, because the processions we are talking about this time, and I mentioned it even the other time, where you have a candidate being followed, our candidate comes in and finds a rally settled, and he goes through.
How do people get to rally venues?
No, individuals can move to the rallies without a candidate. A candidate, even if he's an LOC1 candidate, is a magnet. Is a magnet.
Right.
So when you find a presidential candidate moving in a procession and everything, it really strains. For me, I think it's about Ugandans, the level of, at times, provocation that comes with it, but most importantly, the messaging that we give out there at times contributes to this. The messaging, when we say you people go to the rallies, let's be there by 8, by 7, by 9, and be there in time and nothing happens, is one thing. When you say we are protesting, we shall not allow this, it is another thing. So for me, I think we just have to restrain ourselves. Like I said, on our part, we do mobilize our supporters. They go to the rallies. They wait for the presidential candidate to come and address the first rally, the second rally, because we do 2 rallies a day. But this business of moving with vehicles, I gave an example. They came to our area of Greater Luweero in Nakaseka and Nakasongola. But you would see vehicles in Kagoma, Kawanda, Matuga, following.
Voluntarily, right?
Yeah, voluntarily, but we must also, it's a responsibility by us as leaders.
Okay, do you begrudge someone who is being followed?
We do not
by
begrudge.
Supporters?
We do not begrudge, but we must also be mindful of the circumstances. I gave an example the other time. There is a market called Ibali Chewunya in Luweero, and somebody comes and stages a rally there with the people, and I mean the market people are there supporting different political parties, and then you come with vehicles and everybody, and what happens to those people? Some of these cases really, there's people who do not say anything, but they become victims
Honorable
of the
Amanda,
same.
in the aftermath of the 2021 elections, NRM blamed security for the poor performance in Central Region. Is the same pattern of police or security overzealousness returning now to affect your ratings?
The 2021 elections were a little, not a little, but totally different from this, because there was compliance with SOPs, COVID-19 SOPs. But for me, I want to look at this campaign, when we started and where we are now. We have been able to have rallies going smoothly, but maybe I cannot give an example or give the reasons why there was violence in Kayunga, but I'm just assuming that if we have done it for almost now, it's coming to 2 months, and it has been peaceful, why are we sliding back into that?
Thank you. Honorable Semuju, several weeks down the road, what remains the big highlight, and how disturbing is it that now campaigns are taking an ugly turn from what Honorable Mao had promised the country?
No, you misunderstood Mao. He said this will be
A quiet election.
and
The quietest.
And he said if you are not quiet, they will make sure that you are quiet. And I think they are doing very well. See, the
I
former
think you're being sarcastic.
DP and UID herself a victim, at least up to the time she joined the NRM, cannot be the one rationalizing brutality, saying it takes two to tango. I don't know who she was entangling with when she was in opposition. You see, African leaders never learn. In Tanzania, I think the first time Magufuli stood, he got 6 million votes. Lowassa, who was opposition, who had just left government, got 4 million. 6 against 4. This particular election of Suluhu has 97%. So you want to project that the opposition is not there. The rise that the Honorable Kyagulanyi has had, first, you don't go to areas of high settlements. They must not allow you to access people. They must choose a route for you. Even where there is no traffic, they will tell you are going to disturb the traffic, even where there is no traffic at all. So the rally is here, they will make you move around, and then make sure the venue they choose for you is far away from the population. Because the last time we were here with Dombo, he admitted that NRM is failing people as far as 40 kilometers. Because the candidate of NRM at 81 officially, in the past he used to address a rally per constituency, but at his age you can understand why he can only address 2 rallies a day. So the idea is that they must choose for you the road, they must choose for you a venue. In Rwanda, they used to ask candidates to stage rallies in particular venues, and they are all hired out by the ruling party, so you have no venue. So these ones will choose, I think they will go in a plantation somewhere, a eucalyptus plantation, and say, you can have your rally here. But also to arrive at that rally, they make sure that people don't see you going. So that's how they had constructed this campaign, that this will be a campaign where will not allow the opposition, in particular Kyagulanyi, to move through areas of high settlement, and then the venues must be far away from the population. Because all the NRM people, I was appearing on a radio station earlier, and I said, you see, you now have two problems. There are the Namayanjas, Damulira, and that group that had made Museveni believe that actually the opposition is finished. A lot of money went into it. In towns. After losing Kawempe, the meeting they had, Museveni's complaint was that you told me you have 22,000 registered NRM voters in Kawempe, 22,000. Damulira, and I sympathize with people who speak for police. He said Damulira also has a ghetto who are about 80 per village. Why do we have 8,000? And Namayanja and her group of policemen. These policemen you see here, this one is a politician.
No, he's a police officer.
They are just uniform. So what is police on him is the uniform. The human being, the physical human being, is a partisan NRM vigilante. But he has put a police uniform to look like a policeman. I am telling you.
He's a trained officer.
I am telling you in a meeting, Museveni is telling, and Namayanja was there, that Damulira has ghetto groups in Kawempe. We have 22,000 people on our register. Why did we get 8,000? So these ones must account for the money Museveni gives them to go and recruit for him people. The Namayanjas must also account for the people on the register. So they made him believe, because when they tell you NRM has 18 million people, they have everybody. So why are these people coming, these ones in trading centers stopping Kyagulanyi? So these ones who took money for ghetto must beat them. The Namayanjas who have a fictitious register must support them. Please beat them, so that the man thinks. So this, I said from the beginning, this was a construct. They constructed this campaign to be this way. But when you deal with human beings are human beings. You can take them to Karamoja, then they will go running to Karamoja. Now you must beat. So the beating is a response, because Mao told you the campaign will be quiet. If you guys are not quiet, we will make you quiet. This is exactly what they are doing.
Thank you.
So the moment you have police involved in partisan politics, when we are doing a budget in Parliament, even UPDF was requesting for a budget for elections. I was attending a talk show here in the morning, not here. And people are running adverts now. It is a defense. After elections, go home. Defense, not electoral commission. So the opposition, as the Honorable Mwachivumi has said, you are not competing against Namayanja. No, it's not. You are competing against the whole state. You saw them, the NRM signatures endorsing Museveni, people who were brought to accompany them were being delivered by military trucks.
Thank you. Honorable Bannayuganda, before I bring you in, I would like to inform our viewers that we're also joined by the country director of the Netherlands Institute for Multi-Party Democracy, Mr. Primus Bahigi. He will be speaking and sharing his thoughts. Honorable Bannayuganda, what's your take on the trend that the campaigns are taking?
Well, thank you very much. Well, I think generally it has been peaceful across the country as the candidates traverse the whole country looking for votes and engaging with the voters and the population. But I think there are those who think they can either be covered by the media or hit the headlines by deviating from what the rules require. Because much as it is electoral period, the laws and the rules are not under suspension. They have to be followed. Yesterday when Rukunjiri, President Yoweri Museveni, the NRM candidate, who was in Kanungu in the morning, then Rukunji in the afternoon. He arrived a little bit late, maybe past 4 in Rukunjiri. But when he was giving his speech, I saw him keep looking at the watch. And when it was like 5:30, 35, he said, I have to cut short my speech because I have to give flags to the flag bearers. So he was mindful of the time of 6 p.m. And indeed, by 6 p.m., he was off the stage. So it takes all the stakeholders, including candidates, to be respectful of the law, to be respectful of the rules that have been set. And that's how we can have harmony. I think you are blaming police maybe unjustifiably, because simply because we are in a campaign period doesn't mean police should just go home and sit. Police is there to do its constitutional work, law and order. Whether there are elections or not, they have to be there. If you breach the rules, if you cross the line, definitely the police. I heard my brother Mwanga Chivumbi saying it was only 2 minutes past 6. If you went to strictly to interpret, I think they had seen, maybe it could have been 10 minutes, so I don't know. 2 minutes is Mwanga Chivumbi's. Police may have another timing. But they had gone past the time for holding the rally.
Do you notice that the old ghosts that have always haunted elections are back? And how worrisome is it?
No, I think you are exaggerating the ghosts. I think we should do our work as political leaders, as candidates, as supporters, but also leave the military, the security to also do their work. Because I think there is a tendency to think that because I'm a presidential candidate, or I am an agent and a supporter of a presidential candidate, I can break the rule, nothing should happen.
I want to take this from you.
Yes.
Are you in support of the overzealousness of security? Did you see what was exhibited, for instance, at Kawempe?
No, if the contestants or their agents, their supporters are within the law, police should not harass them. Nobody should be harassed when you have not offended any provision of the law. But even if you have offended the law, then the police also should act in a lawful manner.
Which
whether
law
to
is
arrest,
offended in people gathering at a party headquarters
no,
to accompany their candidate to a venue?
no, gatherings and processions are regulated by law. That you know. Even when it is a political gathering or a campaign-related gathering or procession, they are guided by law. So if in the eyes of police they see that you are breaching provision of the law, they are empowered to come and reinstate order. No. They should not crowbar people, but put everything to order. But maybe if there is resistance and the people are fighting back, that's why sometimes you find maybe confrontation. But this confrontation
what comes to your mind with the sight of huge deployments, dogs everywhere, tear gas, canisters, people being shot?
Well, it depends on what they are trying to handle. Because I have not seen them for instance, in Chigezi, where we've been with, say, President Yoweri Museveni. I have not seen dogs and so forth. So it depends on the behavior of the stakeholders. Because, like the NUP candidate, acceptably, he has been giving a message of inciting the public. Because we watch. Don't say you don't see it yourself. And I think police and security is duty bound to bring everybody to order. Like those processions you are talking about. Like the Honorable Rose Namanja was saying, in our case as NRM, we identify a venue of a rally which is announced, cleared by the EC, and it is known. Maybe where the primary school ground is, like yesterday, yes, far away from the road, yes. And we mobilize people to come and station themselves at a venue. They can
ferry them?
Yeah?
You ferry
Well,
them?
some of those who are very far distant, yes, we ferry them. Okay. Because the president is having only one rally in a district. That's how we have structured it. And some districts are big. and doesn't break the law if you facilitate people to reach the venue, if you have the means. And the president comes from wherever he has come, even us, the leaders who receive him, we just receive him at the venue of the rally. He does not go stopping and going into trading centers because you disrupt public life. There are those who are doing their businesses. So those kind of processions must be guided by the law.
Thank you.
So, in other words, the campaigns are not an avenue to promote lawlessness.
Mr.
The law
Bahigi,
has to be promoted.
as someone from the civil society, what's your perspective on how the campaigns are unfolding? What's really stood out? What is looming large? And what is concerning?
Thank you very much, and I'm happy to join the panelists. I think the first days of the campaigns, we had seen unprecedented, seemingly peaceful processes, and I think that's why Ugandans were saying there is no electricity in electoral process. And it was our hope and prayer that we can keep that trajectory up to the end, because peaceful elections should be a choice of every citizen of this country, irrespective of the political party. Now, what we are seeing, the reoccurrence of tear gas that we had not seen, is something that I think as stakeholders, and including police and security agencies, need to deeply to reflect on. Because as politicians, as security agencies, what should be our first concern is the dignity of a Ugandan who is going to vote, the dignity of the Ugandan who is going to participate in the electoral process. And we ask ourselves, how do we protect the dignity of this person? Because professionally, police and security agencies are trained to manage crowds, are trained to handle crowds. And in handling them, they are given tactics. That's why they are trained. So beating, tear gassing should be in extreme circumstances. Because if I go in the electoral process and I lose my eye and I lose my arm, I don't think I'm going to enjoy a country called Uganda. And of course, what challenges me is that every time, especially as stakeholders, come to speak to the nation, we want to use bad precedents, because we can be a country that can be an example. We can be a people that choose to have electoral processes that are peaceful. And security agencies, for me, I would like to say, for the first 2 months, thank you for the efforts. We saw you restraining yourselves. We saw you trying to control your efforts, trying not to confront. But the recurrence of the events that are happening is something that shouldn't be supported. And I think 3 things for me, Simon. One is that violence is going to keep some Ugandans away from voting. The raw voter turnout. Because some people end up saying, now, if I'm going to the rally, if I'm going to participate, and I am beaten, or I get tear gas, or a canister, what happens? You know, so they end up not participating in that process. Number 2, I keep saying that as a country, elections are not an end in itself. When we have a tear gas on a news station, we lose business. We lose tourists. And when we lose investors, it means the economy that is supposed to support us is going down. So how do we go into this process and ensure that we are protecting the country, we are protecting the image of the country, and at the same time, we are protecting the dignity of the people? That would mean that, A, the constant engagements that the stakeholders have pre to campaigns, can they be extremely honest? Because what I also observe, Simon, is that there is dishonesty. Yeah? There is dishonesty. As politicians, during this time, there is tension. All of them are looking for crowds. They want numbers. So where you can find numbers, even if I was a politician, where I can find numbers, I would be motivated to speak to those numbers so they can get my message. So the fundamental question would be, in that place where I want to have numbers, is it an agreeable place? And I've always said, for me as a Ugandan, how I wish we reach a time where we have campaigns that are extremely quiet, where we reach a time that even the president, when he's moving, we don't have roads closed. We have people moving on freely, whether he's in Kororo, whether he's in a place. You find that the place is not cordoned off. People are going about their business in a peaceful manner.
You don't seem to appreciate what police is explaining. Police says there were acts against the law that were being conducted by National Unity Platform supporters.
Let them tell us an incident where we went to a venue that was not agreed by security. One incident like this, where we have taken a route that has not been agreed on.
He will respond.
Just let him give me one venue where we have forced ourselves to go to a venue that was not scheduled. Or taken a route, because that's the argument, or taken a route that is not agreed on.
I want to refer to the police statement, the most recent statement that was issued by police in regard to their actions. They are saying police and electoral commission met with the organizing committee to agree on the candidates' venues and routes. However, while at the NUP headquarters, security officers were attacked with stones, an act of violence that was repeated at Bwaise roundabout and the campaign venue. You don't seem to be aware of this, as you heap blame on security.
No,
to Primus.
I have not heaped the blame on security. I think you didn't quite pick my point well. One was, I expect, as a citizen of Uganda, professionalism, restraint in managing crowds. But I also expect political actors to act with wisdom and avoid incidences that are going to put Ugandans' lives at risk. That's the most important message, because if I am your supporter and you put me at a point of risk, then you're risking my vote and you're risking my future.
Mr. Mungoenzi Afande, at the height of the Kawempe North by-elections, there were masked men who were assaulting people, and security later came out to deny that these were anywhere in the mainstream. Does anything suggest to you that maybe you were infiltrated by goons who are beating up people with brute force?
Go to that point. Because the argument is that, one, we are not going to places that we are supposed to go to, or we are not taking a route that is agreed on. I want this police officer and these actors here who are rationalizing, and him trying to rationalize political violence, to tell me where NUP has not gone to a venue that is agreed on, or he has diverted from a route. Just one instance.
Okay, thank you. Where do you fall to NUP?
From what we are watching, they have the official venue which is accepted and agreed by the organizing group, and the rest of the towns where they find people, all the trading centers are their venues. Because if you have the people, you have the candidate in one place for 30 minutes, that makes it a venue. So what is he asking? Just watch the footage, you will see.
Sir,
but you are safe
see,
and you answer him.
Are those towns on a route agreed on?
You see, there is
No,
logic.
I'm asking, have we
You watch the
diverted
chairman
from
of the
any
commission.
route that
If
has
a
been
candidate
agreed on?
moves out of the car, invites people to join him, gets a microphone, begins communicating, is that a route or a venue? What message do you have on the route?
So are you
What
beating
does the
them for
microphone?
non-compliance?
Beating is the last point that you must not bring as a first incident.
But
We
it's
talk,
what you're doing first.
we have meetings. No. The clips you see at the last part of the process. We meet before these people go for their campaigns. I am sure you've heard him. The agreed routes. How else do we agree the routes if we don't meet? Two, we proclaim, we advise. You have seen police officers talking to the presidential candidate close to his car. please move. Please, this is a town. You have agreed route. Can you move to the venue? What does he reply? You're cowards. We are many. We will overwhelm you. Banova Tono. You've had such things. I can tell you there is no sane security apparatus that can accept to make the country lawless.
This is not the first campaign that we have conducted. I was in charge of a committee nominating Dr. Besige. We nominated from Nambole. We had a procession up to Nakivubu. There was police. I moved with Dr. Besige. When you are campaigning and you meet people in a trading center and they ask you to speak to them, because you are on a vote hand, you will not say, no, I'm not bothered. Why was it not an offense in the past and now it is an offense? Because this policy is not a new institution. We have had these campaigns before. I have even seen, I grew up seeing Museveni used to walk, to move in a vehicle with a public address system. He stops, he greets people, he continues.
If you can give him a chance to respond.
Yeah.
Semuju knows that things have changed. We have smaller towns, we have numbers increasing in those towns. It's basically logic. He has told you, the Electoral Commission, together with candidates, agreed on what to do. In the Code of Conduct, there are guidelines in place, signed by the candidates themselves. You can imagine the rally that was in Kanu, in thousands, hundreds of people, if they had walked in Chihi or any trading center, would that be sensible? Would it make
I have
sense
seen
for
people
you?
go to Nambole to watch football, and the whole of Mai Chireka is covered with people. I have not seen you tear gassing them.
With what happens to Chile?
It doesn't happen every day.
Absolutely.
We must be happy in our country. Please stop herding human beings like animals. I have seen the other day I was in Mukono. They were going to Kabula for a
signed by these
football
people
match,
themselves.
and they went in a procession. You mean a procession for football and for another function is okay? The only one that is problematic is...
No, but you've not seen deployments in Chile when we have a match in Nambole.
But I have not seen you beat people.
You've not seen roads closed. They do what we tell them. You leave your cars at Naria, we close some routes, we use the train. Honorable Semuju stays in that area.
Who are these men beating up people?
I have not seen men beating people. I have seen police officers controlling crowd, using the accepted standards.
Mr. Anjala, you see, he has reviewed something, that after gathering, they don't want to see people disperse.
That is your story.
No, let me tell you.
I have
what
not said
what
that.
you've done, yes, what you've been doing, after the presidential candidate has addressed a formal rally and is leaving, you tear gas.
That is not true.
If
You're
NBS
not honest
does
and you know it.
I know
You've
it.
had rallies
Even
in
today you've
Mutambala.
done it.
You've
Even
had your
today-
rallies in
no,
Mutambala.
Forget about mine. We are talking about the presidential campaign. Even today, I was in Lugazi, okay? Before the presidential candidate arrived on official venue, you tear gas that
That is
venue.
not true.
Please,
It is
I
not
was
true
there.
and you know it.
Today,
Today's
today
last
as the
rally was-
presidential
We
candidate
will be
left,
playing you footage
please,
in a
as the
few.
presidential
Please do.
candidate left the
Please
venue,
do.
you
They
tear
have
gas
no people at the
people.
venue. They move with their rallies.
No, they
This
were
is a
people-
mobile rally. You
For
you
heaven's
see
sake,
these photos.
Honorable Njia, let me inform this police officer.
Just look for the venue
that I
by
arrived
midday and you
in
see if they have the
Uganda.
people there.
I've arrived on
These are
all
just dishonest
official campaign
politicians.
venues 1 hour to the arrival of a presidential
not
candidate.
true.
And I've been the first to arrive
Those are
there.
trading centers. Just watch the footage.
No, let us
Take
show
us to
you.
the venue.
Where is the venue? What
You
are you
have,
doing?
you have no official venue. That's why you're looking for the venue.
Yesterday,
All those are venues for you.
No.
Afande, yesterday when Bobby was, I think it was in Katosi, people were not even in the field, and police started throwing tear gas,
People have never been in the field.
canisters at them.
Supporters of National Unity Platform, they have never been in the field. They leave Kavule with the candidate. You can imagine a stretch from Kavule up to Rugazi on a congested road with trucks, with people. They are controlled.
Why don't you tear gas
That's why
him?
they broke you. That's
Why
why
don't
they
you
stopped
tear gas him? He closes roads, he has a convoy of 60 vehicles followed by Namaya and
You
by
see,
Bariomo, sometimes 150.
when we are discussing serious issues and
Yes.
somebody decides
You mean that is not serious?
to vulgarize
He crossed the
it,
road.
we cross
Does
over
he
the
go
convoy
alone?
passage.
Does he go alone?
No, but you can't compare a convoy to a procession. Like initially you talked about...
no, he says
you talked about...
yes,
yes, he talked about football and the campaign rally. The passions and motivations are totally different of the people who are going there.
Honorable Namayanja, don't you find it absurd that campaigns have now shifted from discussing issues to discussing something that has become a permanent feature, violence?
By the way, let me tell you, as a party, we do not condone violence. And it is in our interest that we have a smooth election. We have covered so far 82 districts that our presidential candidate has covered, and in a very, very peaceful environment and in a peaceful way. But there are areas like what Afande talked about, that you go stopping in places. Still, I've not been to the campaign rallies. I am at this other side, but I can say that when the candidate for NUP was going to Nakaseke, for instance, the main rally was in a place called Kamuli in Nakaseke Central. But they went through Matuga. Yes, granted. They went to Gombe. They went to Kalasa Makulubita. And then there was a stopover. Those stopovers, Semuto, for instance, is a main town. It's actually the biggest town in Nakaseke district. And there was no rally that was supposed to be there. But they spent there almost 40 minutes. They went to Kapeka town, highly congested. They went to Nakaseke town, highly congested, and then went to Kamuli, where the rally was. So, because the crowd was not provocative, maybe at that level, there was no cases of tear gas.
You seem to rationalize the actions of
No,
I'm not
security.
rationalizing, but I don't want us to also compare. When I give you the time,
I tell the behavior of police on that venue I was there. You see, police, security, manned the streets on that day, ensured the crowds don't come to the road, and there was smooth traffic flow, and they said the candidate, you can't be here for more than 5 minutes, proceed. And it was all peaceful. It was all peaceful. Throughout your leg, throughout your leg.
So why don't you do that?
The question is, what has changed? The question
Why
is,
don't you do
what
that
has
in
changed?
other places?
Since we were in Nakaseke,
Mr. Muwezi,
what you are now
you
doing to
tell us
terrorize
what
and
has
beat
exactly
people.
changed.
Change is that
Yes.
the politicians now, when you tell them this is the town, you can't spend more than 5 minutes. They just get out of the car.
Initially, they were compliant, right?
Absolutely.
Were they compliant,
They
or
were.
you were restrained?
No, they were actually complying until I think their supporters said, this is boring, like they were saying. Now they even come out of the car, ask for a microphone. We're talking about a town. They even invite people. They give transport, people with motorcycles carrying people, to join in town to form something that does not really make sense. You cannot pass.
I think you're sounding political
No,
in making
I
these
know
wild allegations that
it's your perception.
they are
how you define.
they are paying people borders.
I am seeing these things. I don't know where you live, whether you see these things. When you are in a trading center and you have a shop or you have a market and you're expecting to make money for school fees, and somebody, out of his love for... There is no right that overrides the other. You are right to look for votes that is not more important than
so it
my
is
right to
easier
make
to make the money under tear gas.
You will definitely be regulated because you have two rights. I have a right to open my shop and sell. You have a right to look for your votes. It is
Are you
our role to
regulating
regulate.
or disrupting?
Where you sit